and I'm not about to stop now. All they throw at us, the explosions, the pain.
Cliffhanger 2 emerges as one of the most anticipated action sequels in recent memory, promising to deliver the same visceral thrills and emotional stakes that made the original a classic while expanding its scope for a new generation of audiences. From the earliest conversations about the project, excitement has centered not just on high-altitude stunts and breathtaking set pieces, but on the opportunity to revisit a world where danger is measured in sheer vertical feat and survival is defined by courage, resilience, and human connection. This film does not simply aim to retread old ground. It seeks to evolve the narrative, deepening character arcs and weaving a story that feels both fresh and rooted in the legacy of its predecessor. What makes Cliffhanger 2 compelling is how it balances nostalgia with innovation, giving longtime fans moments that feel familiar while inviting new viewers into a high-stakes journey that leaves them exhilarated from start to finish. The central figure in this story returns as a seasoned mountain rescuer, a person shaped by past traumas and hard-earned wisdom. In the years since his last adventure, he has settled into a quieter life, marked by routine and reflection rather than constant adrenaline. But the call to action is not far behind. Fate has a way of drawing those built for peril back into the greatest challenges. When a cry for help reaches him from deep within an unforgiving mountain range, he hesitates only briefly before answering a decision that will pull him back into a world where every step holds the potential for disaster. His internal struggle is central to the emotional heartbeat of the film as he grapples with the fear of loss and the pull of duty. This tension gives the narrative a layer of psychological depth that complements the physicality of the action, reminding viewers that every leap of faith carries risk not just to the body, but to the soul. Surrounding the lead is a cast of characters, whose bonds with him help ground the story in genuine human emotion. Among them are fellow rescuers, each with their own motivations and fears, forming a team whose dynamic evolves under pressure. There are experts whose confidence masks deep insecurities and others whose bravado hides a past they would rather forget. These relationships serve not merely as support for the lead's journey but as mirrors reflecting different facets of courage and vulnerability. As the narrative progresses, alliances are tested, trust is earned, and shared peril deepens connections in ways that resonate beyond the immediate danger. The result is a tapestry of interpersonal dynamics that enriches the film's dramatic impact, ensuring that every action sequence carries emotional weight, the threat that drives. Cliffhanger 2's plot emerges from both the unforgiving terrain and a web of human conflict that complicates survival. Early in the story, what begins as a daring rescue mission quickly escalates into something far more perilous when the team discovers signs of a clandestine operation hidden within the mountain's deadly folds. These signs point to a group whose motives are murky but whose presence heralds a danger that transcends environmental hazards. Suddenly, the mission is no longer just about saving lives from the elements. It becomes a race against those who would exploit the mountain's dangers for their own ends. This shift expands the narrative stakes, introducing intrigue and suspense that ripple through every decision the characters make. The mountain, once a backdrop for isolated peril, becomes an arena where human ambition and natural ferocity collide with devastating effect. As the team pushes deeper into the mountains, the film masterfully constructs sequences where suspense is born not from noise and spectacle, but from the anticipation of what might be lurking just out of sight. Silence itself becomes oppressive, as characters move through narrow passes and unstable ledges, every breath and footstep echoing with possibility. The cinematography captures these moments with sweeping visuals that juxtapose the immensity of the landscape against the fragility of human life, emphasizing how small and vulnerable the rescuers are in the face of nature's indifferent power. Each frame serves as a reminder that the mountain is not simply a setting, but a force to be reckoned with, unpredictable, unforgiving, and awe-inspiring in its beauty and brutality. Within this environment, the antagonist force reveals itself not as a single villain, but as a collective of individuals whose actions demonstrate a chilling disregard for life. Their motivations range from greed to desperation, but all are driven by a belief that they can bend the mountain and those who traverse it to their own will. Their presence introduces moral complexity into the story, challenging the protagonist not only physically, but ethically. Decisions that might save lives in one moment could cost them in the next, forcing the team to weigh the value of each choice against consequences that ripple outward unpredictably. Through these interactions, the film explores the ambiguous nature of heroism and villainy, demonstrating that in extreme circumstances, the line between self-preservation and sacrifice can blur. At the heart of Cliffhanger 2 is a series of set pieces that raise the bar for action cinema. These sequences are meticulously crafted to evoke visceral reactions, moments where the audience's breath catches as a character teeters on a precipice or makes a near impossible leap from one crumbling ledge to another. The choreography of these moments owes as much to emotional timing as to physical stunt work, ensuring that each pulse-pounding beat is anchored in character stakes rather than spectacle alone. The film uses gravity not just as a physical threat but as a storytelling device, reminding viewers that the true danger lies not in falling, but in the choices that lead a person to risk everything for others. While the terrain and antagonistic forces create external obstacles, the internal battles faced by the central character are just as compelling. He is haunted by memories of past loss, moments when his skill was not enough to save those he cared about. These memories surface at crucial junctures, threatening to paralyze him with doubt just when decisiveness is most needed. His arc becomes one of reconciliation, where strength must be balanced with vulnerability, and where the courage to act must be tempered by the wisdom of past mistakes. The emotional resonance of this journey gives the film a depth that transcends the traditional action formula, inviting viewers to connect with the protagonist not merely as a hero, but as a flawed and relatable human being. The narrative pacing of Cliffhanger 2 alternates between relentless tension and quieter, reflective moments that allow characters and the audience to catch their breath. These quieter sequences are not filler, but essential breathing spaces where relationships deepen and personal histories come to the fore. A shared meal by a campfire, a conversation about what lies beyond the mountains, and moments of vulnerability during the night's cold hours all serve to remind viewers why these people are willing to risk everything. It is in these interludes that the film's heart beats strongest, offering a contrast that makes the ensuing action all the more impactful. As the journey progresses, unexpected twists arise that challenge assumptions and realign alliances. Characters who once seemed dependable reveal hidden motives, while unlikely heroes emerge under pressure. These developments keep the narrative fresh, ensuring that the viewer never quite knows what to expect next. The mountain, in all its majesty and menace, becomes an unpredictable character in its own right, a crucible that tests the mettle of every person who dares to tread its slopes. The sense of uncertainty is never fully resolved until the final moments, reinforcing the idea that survival is never guaranteed, and that heroism often arises in moments of unplanned courage. In the climactic sequences, everything converges, the antagonist's plans unravel. The rescuers are pushed to the brink, and the central character must face his deepest fears. This confrontation is not merely a physical showdown, but a culmination of emotional arcs where personal redemption and collective survival intersect. The stakes could not be higher. Failure means not only death for those trapped, but the loss of everything the protagonist has fought to protect. What follows is a resolution that balances raw exhilaration with emotional closure, reminding viewers why they were invested in the journey from the very beginning. By the time the final credits roll, Cliffhanger 2 leaves an impression that extends beyond its action sequences. It showcases the power of well-crafted storytelling, where character depth and thematic resonance elevate a film from a simple adrenaline rush to a memorable narrative experience. The legacy of the original film is honored, but this sequel carves its own identity through emotional authenticity and daring cinematic ambition. The mountains that once served as backdrops for extraordinary feats now symbolize the insurmountable challenges that define human resilience. Through breathtaking visuals, nuanced character work, and heart-stopping set pieces, Cliffhanger 2 proves itself not just a worthy sequel, but a standout example of how action cinema can explore the heights of human drama and the depths of human courage.